In mathematics, x often stands in for a number. Well, this time, x equals 0 because GiantX got a big giant 0 rounds on split against Navi. And that's what we're going to take a look at today. Just before we do that, first I'm going to tell you why you should join the Gosu Academy, which you can do for free for 30 days using the link in the description or the pinned comment. And I was thinking about different reasons why you might want to join the Academy. And amongst all the usual stuff, I was actually just thinking about this, right? That you can get a 30-day trial for free and get access to this kind of stuff where there's just like 50+ hours of video content there. You've just got a bunch of high-level Valorant content that you can just go and watch and just learn about the game from people like Neil Zenio, right? The coach of Team Heretics. Why not do that for free? And on top of that, of course, you'll get all of these benefits and you'll get things like the daily 10-mans that you might want to take part of. You'll get to learn from some pretty good coaches here as well, some of who you may have heard of. And it's just a great way of potentially getting better at the game. And remember, this is all for free for 30 days. So you might as well just do it. It's a free 30 days of just having access to a bunch of content that you might be pretty interested in if you're watching this channel, and having a chance to play 10-mans and learn from coaches as well. And this is the first 13-0 in EMEA since 2022. And interestingly, this is the first 13-0 split that I could find in Tier 1 Valorant since this one, FPX versus Fnatic. And what's funny about that is that Xiao and Angel also administered this 13-0 to Fnatic like they did yesterday against GiantX. So let's take a look at this 13-0, which did look like a lot of other 13-0s happened, where early on in the game, it actually was pretty competitive, but towards the end of the game, it did start to unravel quite a bit, and we'll take a look at one of those rounds. But I do want to point out something that I think was quite important for this, which was the double smokes Astra Omen from Navi, because I think they found a lot of value from this in this game, right? We'll see it in this round, which is the bonus round, right? Which is gonna be a hard round for Navi to win. But just take a look at this, because they've got this Omen one-way smoke just here, and they're gonna put a second Omen one-way smoke on the other side. And I'm just gonna ask you a simple question. Have you ever seen this before? Right? Probably not. You've probably never seen one Omen one way there, one there. You've got an Astra Star behind you as well, potentially, if you need to escape. But just playing this aggro in mid, I think, is just quite interesting, right? So you see the stun comes out, and then they put the Astra Smoke up as well. Now, they did throw a Fade Haunt in all of this, and you see this Fade Haunt does have a trail, and I think this is going to be fairly important here to what happens next, because you'll see the Giants then start drifting over towards this A site, but then a Prowler is going to come out from Angel, and it latches on to the trail, and you see initially it's over there and then starts coming back over towards A. So that gives Navi, you can see that they start drifting over towards this A site. Now there's something else I love in this round from Giants. Get the big circles away from me, stop ruining my analysis. And that is this Vice Wall just here. One thing I really like about this is that this is quite a strange wall. It's not a wall you see very often, but because Navi have decided to play heavy in towards mid, right, and really aggro this space, and they know that Giants are unlikely to take this space from them, that means that the only way to get past this is by coming up ramp. Now, what's going to happen is, even though they drift towards A, is they are just going to go straight towards the site. So these three, it means that they can just fully focus on the site. And just take a look at some of the smokes that we get in here that really, I think, are going to help them win this round.
Well, you may not have changed up the comp, but in terms of the macro, I mean, little time really to stress the details to remedy this attack side, and so they go into a loaded A site. Plenty of Navi bodies here, black and yellow shirts to help support. Koala off the back of Ruxic with his utility in tandem. The Paranoia could have just set up for yet another kill instead. It is the Vice Wall, which has caught Westside. The Tether has noted his position. The spam, fortunately enough, though, has not landed. 20 seconds.
Yeah, look at Navi, though. They're setting up a crossfire. A lovely activation on the Arc Crows.
So Westside is just going to save there, and Navi are going to win the round without losing a single player. And there's a lot of good things here from Navi. First thing I want to point out is this smoke that we see from the Astra, right? And as I say, if you're just playing solo smokes, you probably don't have this smoke, really. And that smoke is going to get them this first kill. Because, again, this exec here, they've got the missiles back here. They're going to Omen Flash. They're going to Yoru TP. Like, they're going to stun across here as well. Like, this exec isn't that bad from Giants, right? Like, it's a fine exec. There's nothing wrong with it. But because we got Ruxic here in this smoke and Runner's going to die to him just there, what that means is by the time that Thomasy is in onto the site, he then has a choice, right? And I think that these double smokes are really good against solo Yoru, right? Because unlike maybe a jet dash or a raise satchel or something like that, right, where you actually would go through the smoke and maybe this guy would shoot a bullet at you, right, just reacting and then give away their position. Obviously, Yoru is just going straight through, right, straight to the site. So they don't know about this guy till they actually just run into the smoke. And when that happens, now Thomasy has a choice of, like, he starts then spamming this guy, right, because obviously they need to kill this guy. But in doing so, that means that the rest of the util they've used on people like Qualanoob on the site has now faded, and they just come and kill him, right? And all the meanwhile, they're struggling with this because they don't just want to run into the smoke, and they're scared of the smoke, right? They get Alma Flash. This is good by Qualanoob as well, not overheating, realizing that they got away, like, you know, 5v3, play the numbers. Then we get the Vice Wall, right? And it's like, oh, there's a Vice Wall there. So our second plan of doing this is now gone. Westside, you know, maybe gets a bit fortunate not to die here as well to the spam, as he gets seeds there as well. And then we get a really nice little Vice flash play from Navi. So all good stuff from Navi, like a really well-played, well-orchestrated round, right? Doing well, like all parts of our comp are working pretty well as we'd want as well. And this is how it started with some nice play from Navi. And now let's skip ahead to the next full buy round, which is round number 5. And as I said, early on in this game, like a lot of 13-0s, some of these rounds were pretty close, right? Like in round 4, the one before this, Giants lose a 2v2. I think the round after this, they also lose a 2v2, right? So, like, they were in some of these rounds. This could have, you know, not been a 13-0 had they won one of those clutches. They just happened to not do so. And this is another example where they're going to end up in a 4v3, right? So they've started towards B, they then come all the way back over towards A instead. And now you're going to get the double smokes coming in here pretty clutch again, I think, for what Navi want to do here. Because you see, Income Giants, they do manage to take Heaven. And Navi are going to go for a re-clear of Heaven, right? With the Omen Flash, with the Razor just there. It's a plan that makes sense. Unfortunately, Westside is going to shut it down. And we end in a 3v4. And then from this point, now Giants are going to Cypher ult and then come over towards this A site. But again, it's not going to work for them.
Westside with a double. Still, GX in control by one player, but they haven't yet hit the site. Look at the control, which Navi currently hold on to. 2 players still playing from elbow. One of them, Xiao, trying to walk his way out from screens to support Hero. Doesn't need it! Hero with a double. And Westside left by himself, scratching his head, wondering.
Scratching our heads and thinking about that.
Now, when we take a look at this position that they find themselves in here, Giants, you could call this a strange decision, right? Because they do, after they get into a 4v3, get the Cypher ult online. The first ping, you know, was with the Omen here and with 2 players here, right? So you might think, oh, we'll just go towards the Omen, right? Go towards the one guy rather than the 2 guys, right? That makes the most sense. But then the Omen retreats and the second ping goes off just there, right? So now we've got a map that looks like this, and you know where they all are. Now, at this point, I do find it a bit strange that they didn't think, well, maybe we should try this, right, as an option. And we could, if we go slow and kind of walk this through, right, they're gonna think we might start coming towards B, right? That's what they're gonna think. So we could potentially try and get on this angle, kind of wait a bit, see if this guy wants to then peek out and maybe kill him, right? And then just kind of pinch on the side and be fine. So speeding up towards A here is, I mean, it's not a terrible decision, right? You're still in a 4v2 and you know where they are, right? So it's still not a terrible choice, but, you know, maybe there was other ways they could have played this round. And again, you know, they start bombarding the site with util, but again, the double smokes is going to cause them problems here, because it's not even the one that we're going to see for Hero just here on the site. It's also the other one that we saw early on cause some problems. This one from Xiao, because he's going to find this kill of this guy just running through the smoke blind, right? So he's going to get this one just here of a guy just running through the smoke. And Hero is also going to get these, right? From this smoke that really helps him survive there on the site. So, good stuff again by Navi. You see that the double smokes caused them some problems, but maybe Giants' call there was, you know, maybe not the most optimal one. But then let's skip ahead to the next buy round as well, round number 7. If you're asking the question, TMV, how do you get 13-0'd? The main cause of a 13-0, in my opinion, as opposed to something like a 13-2 or a 13-3, is that when you get ults online, you don't use them very well. And this is an example for you, right? Or you don't get value from them, I should say. Sometimes you can use them in a perfectly fine spot, but just not get value from them. And this is a round where they have 2 big ults, right? You have a Breach ult, you have a Yoru ult. And oftentimes, you know, you're going to have a round where you've got some big ults, you use them, you win the round, right? It happens every single Valorant game, pretty much. This is one of those cases where they are going to use some big ults as they come for this kind of A split. We start Yoru ulting, but this time, they're not going to win the round.
a couple of these ults queued up to hit the A site. The first is the Yoru, and well, it's only just spotted a player making that cross towards elbow, and Koala gets away with the kill.
Yeah, and this is something that's been really good from Navi. The protocols being able to play off-site. GX have got onto it, but Spike's still in heaven. They've completely left it. The Breach was left trying to use the Rolling Thunder, and calamity right now for GiantX as Navi look to deal with them. Cloud bringing it back to a 2v1.
But where have we seen this before, Cairo? Hero to close another round.
So let's take a look at these ults then, and when we take a look at it, we use the Yoru ult, and the Yoru ult you would think is fine, but again, this double smokes is going to cause them problem, because when you see Thomasy, you know, use his Yoru ult here, he sees Angel just there, but now he comes into this smoke, but he doesn't have time to check the whole back site, so he thinks that someone is back site, right? And now there's double smokes on the site again, right? So just take a look. Yeah, they get the op kill through, like, coming out of the smoke and manages to get it. Nice shot by Koala, sure thing. But now they're going to breach ult because they think someone's back site, even though they just Yoru ulted. Right, and we're going to get hit by that breach ult, our own Yoru, and we're going to die here with the spike, which is not the only time this happened in this game, by the way, where Runner died with the spike in heaven whilst the rest of his team was on site. So we're starting to see it sort of unravel a bit. You'll see that Thomasy here is stunned by his own breach ult, and Angel gets that kill. So things were starting to unravel a bit, and this is how you get 13-0'd, right? You use 2 big ults in a round, and, well, I mean, really, you get negative value from them because we kind of breach ulted our own player. This is how you get 13-0'd. And as I said earlier in the video, a 13-0 generally takes a certain course where the first couple rounds, you know, early in the game, are actually pretty competitive. Then as you start to get towards the end, things start unraveling. And round number 9 is an example of things completely unraveling for Giants.
You're right, these things take time.
Yeah.
It has been a process for this roster. If you expect instant results with player changes, then you're gravely mistaken. That is not the story we've seen of the stage so far. Given a little bit more to work, GX coming out the back of matches against top contenders. Now Navi seeming to fit the mold of that themselves. Hero with 2 more kills.
So I don't need to show you the rest of the round of Westside and another 1v4. Instead, I mean, I'm just going to show you one thing, right? Which is when these players start dying, I just need you to take a look at one thing, okay? Because we're going to tail ult onto the site, right? This is a perfectly fine tail ult. You know, again, it all looks normal. The first part of the round, you know, looked perfectly fine. But then just take a look here. When I'm just going to try and pause it here when we get the first kill. Okay, so Purpo is about to die just there. He's just died, okay? I'm now going to show you this. One thing you might notice is they've done a full A exec. You might notice we still have Paranoia online. He's now dead. Thomasy is about to die. He still has a flash. We got Runner here with almost full breach util. We still have Drone. We still have the stun here as well from Cloud. We've got all of that. We're just running a full A exec, remember, right? Our plan this round is just to do this. And yet somehow, even though there was some delay, right? That's the thing as well. It's not like, oh, guys, we got the free site here. You know, we don't need to use it. We're getting delayed, right? Look at this. Hello? What's even worse is that when you look at this tail ult, you would think like, okay, you're tail ulting this. This is a good tail ult, right? Your Omen is in perfect position to flash this. We can stun whatever we want. TP in behind the flash. Clear the whole site. Flash back here. Site's ours. Everyone's in a lot of trouble. Right? This is like, you've got like this tail ult with like Breach Omen with a Yoru TPing behind it. Like, there is no way this guy should live. There is no world where this guy should live because we can literally just, the floor is lava the entire site and make it so that he cannot live. Instead, I don't understand. Thomasy's going to... I think Thomasy, honestly, probably at this point just ran out of confidence of ever trying to actually TP in onto site. Because he's going to fake this, which again, with the tail ult, doesn't make sense. Why would you fake that? You want to get past this. That's the whole point. is to be past this and to be running at Xiao here. You might be like, oh, he's flashed. That's actually a team flash that flashed in this time. And then he's going to shoot the clone and, you know, take the little flash from that. How have we not used some of this util? How have we got to this point with no breach flash? With no omen flash? It boggles the mind. But the thing is, we've seen quite a few 12-0s that don't turn into 13-0s because the team on 12 lets us down in the pistol round. But Navi didn't let us down, and we got the 13-0.
Full time that we'd been in this position, I would have two. It's pretty weird that we've been in this position twice in 2 weeks.
What, in 3 series? God forbid. Can Navi see it over the line? It's Koala Noob again. The most first blood success rate of the top 5 duelists, and he's going to keep doing it. Hero with 2 more kills, as it's been said multiple times. Popo was the last player left on B. It's happening before our very eyes. A Westside 1vX, but this time it's to stop pure embarrassment.
It's been a similar storyline, time and time again, week to week. GX are looking down the barrel of a 13-0, and Navi are the ones to